All right, we're back, and this is the third week of August. Today is August 5th, 14th. Good Lord.
14.
Today, I guess so. Today is.
We need to start over.
No, we don't do that anymore. Today is August 14th, 2013. I'm pretty sure about that one. And things are starting to get serious. Kids are going back to school. Teachers are going back to school. That's me. And comic distributors are not hooking you up with your comics.
Yes, that's how we should start this. There was barely a problem at Diamond, and they didn't know they shipped only about 2/3 of my order, and apparently this whole area was hit with it. So, what we're going to talk about is going to be slim because some stuff is not there. And then quickly, I'm going to read off what is not on there. We don't have. So we don't have Batgirl. We don't have blah 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 blah. We don't have the. Well, you have Batman right there, dumbass. Ooh, I said ass.
You don't have it.
You said it twice.
Yes, but I'll have it tomorrow, so it doesn't matter. I'm saying for this video,
okay.
what we don't have. I got Saga. Are we missing Saga? We're missing Walking Dead, and a few other Thor, a few other things we probably wouldn't actually talk about. But we will have them tomorrow morning. So the only reason I'm mentioning it because in this podcast we will not have those comics to talk about.
So it would be a normally strange thing for us not to bring up Saga.
Exactly.
Yes.
But we don't have a copy, although
Which I'll probably still bring it up.
Mara has read it because she gets her fancy advanced copies. So if you're like, why didn't they talk about Batgirl? Why didn't they talk about Walking Dead? Because we don't have them. But if you do shop here in Conway, we should have them tomorrow morning, so it shouldn't affect anything except, again, this video.
And the only reason why we have Batman is because I'm the one person in the world that gets the digital copy issue.
That is true.
And they ship that one. And it's not damaged. Usually they, like, wrinkle these things up and roll them up. And just
They
like,
open the box, right?
yeah.
Because of the stupid bag.
And they will definitely let you know that it pisses them off because they will mess up a copy of Batman. It's always Batman. It's never any other comic that's in the bag. I get a few like that. They never damage. They only damage Batman. Joker works for the. That's a lame joke. All right. Well, let's get into comics. Let's talk about the independent books this week.
Independents. They're not third tier.
They're first tier in our hearts.
They really are. I mean, as far as
a few of them.
As far as quality goes.
The ones you're going to talk about for sure.
A few of them suck, like the one I read last night.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's start off with Gail Simone's Red Sonja. Number 2 comes out. Pretty strong start for this series. Comic Vine gave it 5 stars out of 5. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's a perfect book, but it was enough to pull in new readers to this this character. So, number 2 out of the series, you can still catch up with number 1 from Dynamite Comics. Highly recommend. Plus, the covers are really fun. This is the variant, or one of the variants?
Yeah, that's the Stephanie Buscema variant.
Yeah. So.
The main cover's by Nicole Scott.
Yeah.
Which we didn't get, but we'll have one.
Yeah.
This is the only one you got.
I got 2. There's another variant cover that somebody else got.
But adorable covers, wonderful comics so far. Next up is Hickman's East of West, number 5. And I will say, out of the 5 that have come out so far, this issue is my favorite. It was a lot easier to read than the other ones because you build up to it, and that's kind of, you guys have read Hickman before, that sometimes you just don't know what you're doing. Kind of like being thrown in the deep end of a pool, and the first couple seconds you're splattering around trying to figure out what's going on, and when you finally get to dog paddle, it's like, okay, that makes sense now. This comic will start making sense for the whole series. It's got a little bit of romance in it, and it's got one of those moments where you're just gonna just be amazed at what's going on with the general universe there. Also out this week, that's a good comic, Star Wars number 8. Nothing else to say about this except there's a really cool fight between Slave One, Millennium Falcon, and that little garbage bunker thing that Han Solo's in. Plus a really sweet moment with Leia and Alderaan.
That's the first Ron Kelly issue too, isn't it? Or did he do the last one?
He did the last one.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, for
well,
sure.
Never mind.
So
but
it's a
he's
little
a
bit.
good artist.
Yes.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a great series so far. Everything about it has been. I mean, I haven't found anything about this comic that I just don't like, and that's a pretty rare thing for Star Wars Extended Universe stuff.
No doubt, definitely.
Yeah, it's hard to find that extended universe story that really connects with you. And this one, for me, it's been spot on for everything. Not pictured as Saga, number 13. We were discussing it earlier, and Matt brought up that it was probably one of the weaker issues so far in the series. I'll have to agree with him on that, but it sets it up for something greater.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's kind of like a bridge to the chorus kind of stuff.
And your weakest issue of Saga is
It's still
better than anything else you're buying.
And a lot of that, I'm sure, is just that you've been waiting for 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, well, it's just a normal issue.
Yeah.
But it does
And the
state
normal
that.
issue is
Yeah.
Right.
It does state that like they do spend a lot of time recapping,
Mm.
and it's necessary because it's been 6 months since I've read Saga. Has it been that long?
It hasn't been 6 months. I think it's been like 3. And then theoretically, that's the beginning of a new arc, so hopefully there's people picking it up.
Yeah.
So they're selling so many, I don't think it matters much.
Yeah.
Trade's doing really well.
Yeah, but that's the idea.
comes highly recommended by me,
By
Yeah.
all of us.
by all of us.
Yeah.
Issue 13. So
The art is. I'd say
How'd
this
she
as
do
good,
it?
as good as the story is in Saga, and it really is really good. The art is the show stealer. Like that would be a decent book if any other person was doing the art on it. I shouldn't say any other person, but if they had a different artist, like that's what makes it spectacular. I would say like Why the Last Man is still a better story, or at least
So, well,
it's totally different. It's hard
you're
to compare.
comparing a completed comic series to one that's in
True.
progress, and the one that's been in progress has had almost as much acclaim as Why the Last Man.
Right,
as far
but the
as
art.
the
I'm saying.
scope of what it's saying.
Well, let's at least compare the art to Why the Last Man to the art of Saga. And is there anyone that would say the art in Why the Last Man is anywhere near as good as Saga's?
It's two different.
Well, yeah, but other than him,
I say
other
it's
than
different.
her,
It's two different
sorry.
people.
Other than her,
Yeah, it was a completely different style for a completely
Right.
different story.
Yeah.
right?
You can't compare those two.
I
And I
just
actually like
did.
the
You just did, but it didn't make sense.
Nothing I say makes sense.
Comparing the
That
writing
is true.
because the same author does, but comparing two different stories with art doesn't. Anyway,
Yes. Well, in that case, in that argument, I say the story of Why the Last Man is better than Saga. But that doesn't take away anything from Saga. That's not bad-mouthing Saga. That's saying,
It is bad mouthing Saga people. You need to write comments and you need to get on websites and talk about us.
yes,
All publicity is good publicity.
exactly right.
We love
Exactly
you,
right.
Head versus Cheese, or whatever.
Bacon versus
Dude, you hate him. You don't even
cheese.
know his name.
I never remember the bacon part.
Shame on you.
And that was the first time we ever called him out. Oh, speaking of calling people out, I got when I did the. If you guys look at our blog, I did a review of Infinity #1 because I got it last week. I got my first Twitter follower ever from the blog.
Really?
That I didn't know.
Congratulations.
If I was cool, I would have his name, but he's some dude from England. So there's a
Nice.
shout out for some dude from England.
Hey, some dude from England.
Unless you're not in England and you're like in Scotland or something, then I apologize.
What if he's
But it is
not
from
from
the
the,
UK.
blog? What if it's just like a Twitter bot?
No, I've talked to him. We had
Okay.
actually tweeted back and forth.
sweet.
Right
That's
on.
what I'm saying.
Networking.
Awesome.
Okay, sorry.
Let's move into something that's less awesome.
Bacon versus cheese. We love you. Thank
Yeah,
you for watching.
I love bacon versus cheese.
One day we'll respond to your comment.
Yeah, exactly. we're not good at that. If you did follow us on Twitter, Bacon versus Cheese. There's links somewhere. Anyway,
Right down here.
no, don't point there because
No.
I have to
Yes.
write. I have to type those out. Please don't do that.
We can't do that.
Now you have to.
No. And there is the care that I put into this thing. So next is Huntress and Power Girl, World's Finest. That's why I choose to call this comic. Huntress and Power Girl, World's Finest, instead of just World's Finest.
I mean, that's valid.
I
That's
hope,
their comic.
I do hope that, World's Finest used to mean Batman and Superman once upon a time.
Well, that's the idea. It's the children of Batman and Superman.
Yeah. But,
Although I guess Supergirl's not his child, but whatever. Same diff.
right.
The sidekicks of Superman and Batman.
How dare you call them sidekicks? Alright, but awesome series so far. I am a little behind on it, but I have been enjoying it so far. And Levin's Rise to Power Girl. Not
He did create
He
her.
did create her, yeah. Sorry.
Both of them, actually.
I did not know that about Huntress.
Yeah, he created both of them.
That is pretty cool.
Nice.
Kyle Higgins, new issue of Nightwing. Still dealing with the prankster. Kyle Higgins is a pretty good writer. I do not read Nightwing though. I've read the first 10 issues of Nightwing. It was good stuff, but you have to draw the line somewhere.
And if you are interested in Kyle Higgins, he's the guest on Fat Man on Batman. This
Right.
The Kevin Smith podcast.
And he does have a decent taste in Batman stuff. But he does like Batman Beyond, but let's give it to him. He's writing it.
I like Batman.
You didn't like Batman Beyond?
I've never really gotten into it. I should rewatch it.
If nothing else, you should watch The Joker's Revenge or The Return of the Joker.
I have seen that. That's
That was
really
awesome.
good, but it wasn't enough to get me involved in
That's
this
my
TV
jam
show.
Saturday morning.
You guys are so
Pokemon.
young.
Anyway,
That was my jam when I was like 25.
Mouse, the one-man play. I take it this issue is all about. Yep, it's all about the rat kid.
On a side note, that actually came out last week.
Oh.
We were just shorted, so we got
Skip
one.
that. Next issue of Trinity War. This is what, chapter 4 of Trinity War. What's going down in Trinity War? Stuff.
Superman
It's a
killed some stuff.
crossover.
Remember what happened in Justice? That's pretty much what happened in this.
Okay.
Nice.
Superman killed a guy, and then
Dr. Light, actually.
Yeah, his name's Dr. Light.
and then Superman started fighting Batman, who started fighting Shazam, and then John Constantine was all like, "Hey Shazam, I'm gonna steal your magic word," and
He said blind me, probably.
Anyway, chapter
Blimey is
4.
not the magic word.
Chapter
Shazam.
4 of Trinity War, Justice League of America. Issue 7 of that. And Constantine is coming out. Can't tell you much about that. Does Lemire still write this? No, he doesn't. Ray Fox is now the only guy that writes that. But this has to do with San Diego, which was a month ago, and now those stories are getting old, I'm sure, to people. But Ray Fox did draw John Constantine for me, and he drew Constantine for me because I saw the guy who was in front of him get something sketched by Fox, and I said, well, that looks pretty good. I didn't know he sketched. And well, apparently he does. I don't know if he's done anything for a comic, but he did draw a very good John Constantine for me. Isn't that a fun story? Let's move on to Marvel.
Alright, so first up from Marvel, we've got Avengers Academy. I haven't read this one, but I flipped through it. It looks cool because the premise of the story is this is what everybody who were friends with people in the Avengers Academy is happening. So the rest of the Runaways are in it. The rest of the Avengers Academy. And it's all about how they're dealing with the fact that their friends are gone.
Is Old Bison in it?
Maybe. I didn't look that hard.
No.
But I definitely saw Molly.
That's
She's the
cool.
most important,
Yeah.
by the way.
Bruiser?
Yeah.
Moving on.
Don't talk about that one.
Oh. That's why you're supposed to announce this stuff beforehand. Dude.
Yeah, we planned
Alright.
this out for a reason.
Uncanny X-Force. I totally didn't look at this yet, but I think we're past the Psylocke story.
Yeah, we just ended the
Yeah.
Phantom
Yeah.
X
He's in
stuff
Harlem now.
last
That's
month.
great.
Or last issue.
Ramon Perez.
So this one's going to pick up back with
There's plenty of Puck,
red-
plenty of
Yeah.
Storm, so yeah, the rest of the team is back. Not that, I mean, the last story was pretty awesome, so, but it's nice to see the characters a little bit, so there you go. And then last up for Marvel, except for picks of the week, we got Uncanny X-Men. Yep, craziness is ensuing with, yeah, he's not
He's
even
not even in
that
that
comic
comic
book. But, yep, some more mutant riot type stuff, and Scott trying to deal with the rest of the world, trying to explain that he's a good guy, although we all know he's a bad guy.
And Fraser Irving is doing the art on this one. We discussed this before we started recording. Not a huge fan of his art style, but then again, this isn't the greatest X book, but it is pretty good.
I like it. It fits. I mean, it's different than Mochulo, but it's definitely stylistic like his, so it works for me.
Yeah.
But I do like Mochulo better.
Yeah. You know, he does his own. He colors. He does his own coloring.
Mochulo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do that. So does Fraser Irving, I think. I think Fraser Irving does it all.
Yeah, but I don't like him.
Yeah, well, too bad.
Well, cool. Well, I guess it's time for picks of the week. Remember, guys, our picks of the week are a little bit affected because some of their comics aren't out. I'm pretty sure you probably would have. You wouldn't have picked Wolverine and X-Men? Okay, all right. Well, what's your pick of the week, TJ?
Matt Fraction's Fantastic Four.
What number is that?
This is
11?
number 11. I'm not a huge Fantastic Four fan, and Matt knows that, even though it's his favorite comic. I mean, I think Matt Fraction's been doing a great job. I've just never really cared about the characters before. But this issue is fantastic. I mean, it has all of the stuff that he's put in the comic so far collides in this issue. It's like You like those issues where Reed's being a good father. You like the issues where it's really science fiction-y and futuristic and time travel-y. And this is it. You've been waiting for stuff to happen. It happens.
I like that issue of Blastar in it. Is Blastar in that issue?
No.
Not good enough.
One of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe is in this comic, though.
Dun dun dun.
Galactus?
No, he's in the Ultimate Universe, dude.
Is he? Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
still is.
he's in the Ultimate Universe.
Spoiler?
Spoiler.
Spoiler.
What do you think Hunger's about?
Yeah,
Well, I don't
and
know
Age
if
of
everyone's
Apocalypse.
read it.
Age of Ultron. We've talked about it
I
before.
just want to make sure people get really upset
Let's
at
go
me when I
Mara
start
now.
talking about things
Yeah.
like that.
I mean,
Okay.
if he actually told us, yes, indeed, it's Galactus, that would have been a spoiler.
You know what?
Okay.
You know what?
Teased it.
I can
No.
tell you who it is.
New rule for this video podcast. If the comic comes out and it's more than a week old and we talk about it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Dude, we just lost Bacon versus Cheese.
No, Bacon vs. Cheese vs. Comics.
What if he's a week behind, dude?
Sorry, Bacon vs. Cheese, but catch up, buddy. And it's not going to ruin the enjoyment of reading something that's well
I
written.
mean, that's the whole reason I brought up the Hunger series, so that you would know that Galactus is in it, because they didn't solicit that way. But whatever.
So yeah, Fantastic Four.
We may have
It's,
overreacted to that.
it's great this week.
Is Galactus in that?
No, I was
He's
referring.
in it! Let's move on!
He's not the most powerful. Then it's not the most powerful member of the DC. Well, I guess since Marvel, he's not in the Marvel universe anymore. Maybe he is.
Who's Reed's son?
Oh,
He's in
Franklin?
that issue every
Franklin's in
time.
every issue.
Yeah. So. It counts. It's not like I said for the first time he's in this issue.
Why did we bring him back to the
I
show?
don't know.
Can I share my pick of the week now?
Yes, God.
Fearless Defenders number 8. This is the perfect cover for you cosplayers out there who want to be Valkyrie because it breaks down every single aspect of her costume.
I mean, I understand that we're going with a not sexualized version of Valkyrie, but if you're going to cosplay as Valkyrie, you got to go with the metal boobs. Come on.
Yeah, but I really like this one.
'Cause,
This
I
one's
mean,
really
I do prefer that
doable.
costume, but nobody's going to know who that is if you wear that costume.
That's true.
You got to go with the metal boobs.
They just started the new arc last issue, so you can still jump in,
What about a metal boot
Grab-
window?
grab number 7, and continue on with the story.
I was going to say that's the one that we probably don't want to spoil last issue.
Yeah.
Because that was a pretty big deal.
Yeah. So
So if you
Go
haven't read
read it.
last issue, you might want to read that one. 'Cause
go read it.
something pretty big happens.
Good comic, though.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit.
I'm glad that it's staying monthly. I was glad that it was staying at $2.99, but yeah, heads up if you're a Fearless Defenders fan, it looks like that book's going to be jumping up $1. I don't know if it's just a one-time thing, but usually these things are not one-time things unless they're like annuals or...
Yeah, I don't see why there's a
Special.
reason to do it unless there are more
Yeah.
pages.
Who knows? It's a little bit more, but it's still a great comic.
Yeah, it's still good. It's definitely one of the better... Well, I don't know. I don't want to say one of the better Marvel comics because there's so many good Marvel comics.
It is one of the better Marvel comics.
And
Backing up,
you do
right.
get the digital code with it too.
Yeah.
Right, and that's awesome. But backing up, something before we move into my pick of the week and then your pick of the week, has a little something to do with Hickman's Avengers. Last week, on the cover of Avengers, it was Ex Nihilo, correct?
No, that was the chick that I think's
I've
not
heard
even
her
in that
referred
issue.
to as XX Nihilo.
I don't even know if she
because-
was in that issue, but she's definitely
She certainly,
in Infinity.
yeah, but she was not in that issue. And I read it and I was like, what does this cover mean?
Because she's going to be one of, well, I mean, we can talk about it when I get to my pick of the week, but she's tied into Infinity.
Okay, well, good.
Wait, Brian, what's your pick of the week?
It's Infinity.
This wrapped in a nice little bag is Batman 23. He's putting on the glove. Pretty cool cover. I haven't even been able to flip through this issue, but if you have been reading Zero Year, you've probably been enjoying Zero Year. Capullo has been doing some pretty cool art stuff in the past couple of issues, so I'm sure there's going to be some kind of treat for everybody in this issue. So definitely going to want to pick up this one. Batman is, I always say that the pick of the week should be the comic that when you get home, it's the first comic that you read. And I don't do that with every one of them, but
Right.
Batman, I don't,
Because, well,
I don't last long.
If we did that with everyone, yours would always be Fantastic Four, mine would always be X-Men.
That's
so
true.
We got to diversify a little bit.
Yours aren't always X-Men?
Yeah. Today's not even X-Men, dude.
You're right.
Was
Wolverine's
last
in it.
one
Oh yeah,
Was last week with X-Men?
Yeah, it's all
I don't remember.
X-Men.
Oh, okay.
When was the last time you had a DC comic as your pick of the week?
He has had one. I
I've
can't
done
remember what it
before.
was though.
I've done Earth 2, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And
I
if you
think
count
it was
Vertigo, I've definitely done Vertigo stuff. Usually, though, you pick the Vertigo comics, so I don't get to do Vertigo.
I get excited.
the Vertigo
That's fine.
comic. Nah, Vertigo's back. Vertigo's back.
It's
baby.
coming back.
It's trying.
It's not Image yet, but it's coming back.
No, it's never gonna be Image.
Alright, you ready to talk about Infinity?
Yeah,
No.
So,
let's do it.
the big deal this week is Infinity, the big Avengers crossover. Like I said earlier, I did do a review, and as Mara said earlier, reading John Hickman sometimes is jumping into the pool. If you haven't been reading Avengers, you're going to be jumping into the deep end of the pool on this one. Jim Chung does the art. It's awesome. This comic book is super thick. They put the free comic book in there, and there's even more pages beyond that. So,
They
I
put
mean-
the free comic book in there, but they don't charge the free comic book price.
yeah, you still get it for free.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, assuming that it's only $4.95. I mean, it's definitely thicker than a normal annual and stuff. And you get the sweet digital code if you're into that. But I enjoyed it quite a bit. But I have been reading both Avengers books, and I don't know if you haven't been reading Avengers books, you might not want to pick this up. You might wait for the X-Men stuff that's going to come out in a couple weeks. It should be quite a bit more accessible, even though everybody says that X-Men is not accessible in general.
Those are people that don't even try. I was
I agree.
someone that could not read X-Men for the longest, and granted, I jumped into Marvel now mostly, but
Definitely what
Wolverine-
Bendis is doing is completely accessible.
right, and I think Wolverine and X-Men does because they have so many story arcs.
The problem with X-Men is you just have to jump in with a #1 issue somewhere.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've always made the argument you don't even need to do it #1.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's how I got in, was Uncanny
Sure.
X-Men by Kieran Gillen, and Wolverine and the X-Men came out
Yeah,
within, a couple weeks of each other.
something like
But
that.
I'll say this about X-Men: all those characters are so familiar that I feel like if you just pick up a comic, you should be able to at least assume what's going on. Has Cyclops and Wolverine ever got along? No. I mean, you can always pick up on who's on whose side pretty quickly.
You know, one that
Now, I would say X-Men Legacy or like X-Men
yeah, I mean, that's
Astonishing X-Men. Like those might be a little bit more difficult.
I was about to say,
Well,
like, the one that
Astonishing.
pulled me into the X-Men universe was Astonishing X-Men, which is about
That's pretty
two.
accessible. Again, it's Iceman and Wolverine and Gambit. I mean, you guys have watched the cartoons, you've seen the movies, you know what those characters are, at least a little bit.
Mhm.
But,
But you can read Brian Wood's X-Men.
But the
Well,
least
yeah.
accessible X-Men comic is Gambit because no one buys it.
that's true. But really, the less accessible comic is X-Men Legacy, because it's all about Legion, and nobody knows anything about Legion.
What about X-Factor?
X-Factor's pretty dense, because Peter David's been writing it for like 25,000 years.
And if you're jumping in now, like this is one comic that I would say probably not the best time to
Right.
jump in now because there's like 3 issues left.
No.
So, but
And Astonishing. Astonishing's what's in too, right?
Yep.
yeah.
So,
But
There'll be more
Astonishing's ending after 65 issues, which is pretty wild.
Well, that's not the last
65.
issue.
Well, but we're
Yeah,
at 65,
yeah.
so 70-ish, whatever. But X Factor is on what, 250 something?
Well, they added the original numbering on it, so it's not that high.
They did what they did, like Journey into Mystery
Yeah,
and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
when it hit 200 or whatever, they switched to 200.
Like, isn't Nova? Nova's about to have his 100th issue, but it's
I don't know if they're going to switch it or not.
all of the. I hope not, but it's the 100th issue is not going to be the 100th issue of the current Nova. It's,
Right. They add all
yeah.
the Novas together.
They did that with She-Hulk.
Yeah, they've done it.
years ago.
They've done it all. Whenever, like when Uncanny X-Men gets to 650 or whatever, they're going to change the number. Don't worry, because they always do.
Yeah.
Because it's going to sell more comics, which is fine as long as they're good comics. So,
Yeah.
Or they'll restart it again.
yeah. Well, what they'll do is they'll change it to 650, do it for like a year, and then restart it.
But it'll be the third #1 X-Men
Which used
in
right.
5 years.
It used to be really annoying, but nah.
They did that with Fantastic Four a lot.
Just put it in.
just buy comics.
and put it in order as how you have it.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to Infinity, I was going to show you some sweet variant covers that they sent us, but oh yeah, they didn't send them.
Yeah.
So if your store or if you come into Conway does the launch party, there is a Scotty Young cover that you can look up online. That's awesome.
Is it
There's
the one where
another-
they're playing the arcade game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that
There's
one.
another cover that I'm not sure. I think it's got Deadpool on it, if you like Deadpool. And then
People apparently do.
you should get some pins. You got a sweet Thanos, which is at the cover number 1, and then you get a sweet Captain America.
Captain America.
And then in each bag, there's one Black Bolt pin that you guys don't get.
Dang it! He's probably gonna buy it in Infinity.
No,
You don't think?
no.
He's
It's
either
his own
gonna-
comic
We
book.
play
Yeah,
bets.
seeing as the next big event is all about the Terrigen Mists, I doubt
I mean, they could kill him and then do stuff.
They
with
did
the other
with Thor.
humans, but I doubt it.
But he's either going to bite it, or he's going to be bigger than Black Bolt has ever been. And here's something neat. Brian, for my birthday last week was my birthday, Brian got me the first appearance of Black Bolt in Fantastic Four 45. So that's pretty neat.
Can I finish now? All I was going to say, I had one little thing that nobody's going to care about now, but there's also lithographs that you come with your store if they did the launch party that you can get for free.
Sorry, I slowed down your lithograph
Yeah.
speech.
Well, I was just going to say it. I mean, again, I would show you them, but we didn't get them. Should have them tomorrow,
But Infinity, it's going to be pretty.
it should be
rock
good.
solid.
Again,
You think every issue is going to be $5?
I don't think so, but I'm not positive. I need to go look. I doubt it though. Like I said, this is pretty thick, so they're probably not going to go that big.
They did that with A versus Wolverine. Yeah. Avengers versus X-Men. Yes.
I mean, they might.
Yeah, but at least it's not 12 issues like Avengers versus X-Men was.
Although, that does remind me. It's actually more like 18 because you were definitely going to have to read Avengers and New Avengers.
That's true.
Hickman said that in public before, and Rachel's talking really loud outside.
Yeah. Well, it's time to wrap up anyway. This has been a pretty extended one because we're all kind
only
of
half
tired.
of our comics.
With only half of our comics. But we have a lot of comics where Johnny on the spot, but not this week. Also, recently released on Disney XD was Hulk Agent of Smash. Don't watch it, it's terrible. But the free episode's on iTunes if you want to go pick it up and watch something really crappy with Seth Green. You definitely can do that. He's Rick Jones.
Eliza Dushku is She-Hulk.
She's not in that episode though, so
Oh,
whatever saving grace it had, it lost it. But where we at, Brian?
We are at Conway Comics, 255 Ferris Road, right behind good old UCA.
Good old UCA, back to school, boys and girls. From Secret Life of Comic Books at blogspot.com. Until next week, I'm Matt Wood.
I'm Mara Wood.
I'm TJ McDonald.
I don't get to stay on Brian Wood this time?
No.
Okay. I'm
Do
Brian
it.
Keown. I do not ride the X-Men, sadly. Although it's actually probably good because it wouldn't be as good because I'm not that good a writer.
Aw. Aw.
It would probably have the same characters in it, though.
Ah, okay. We will see you next week with some more comic books, children.